Jassi, okay, girl, I may not have been an honor roll student, but one subject I always excelled in was math. And girl, your math, it just ain't mathing. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Miss Janelle Baby here with this week's recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac, episode 6. This episode, I'm actually shooting this video literally the day of episode 7, which comes on tonight. So I wanted to get this over with so that I can watch episode 7 and have that one ready for y'all to go to real soon. Anyway, this episode starts off where last episode left off, where Stacey was letting Karen know what the girls were saying about her, about pointing out all of her charges and saying how Miss Karen had agreed to go to rehab. So now Karen is like, no, I did not agree to go to rehab. I don't know what these girls is talking about. And she said, in fact, Mia started her business because she had an opioid addiction. So I'm like, where did this come from now, Karen? What is going on? Okay. So Stacey is even skeptical, like, all right, Karen, now we just making stuff up now. You know what I'm saying? Like, where did this come from? She has Miss Karen is something else now. So now Karen says that she takes what Mia did personally, and she says Mia was not doing it out of concern. Mia was doing it to get, to get ahead. She said her exact words was, I wrote it down. Mia will step on Jesus to stand up. That's what she said. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So now Miss Wendy, she's just not here for it. Miss Wendy, she's still in her birthday bubble. So she's like, girl, I don't got time for this drama. Y'all girls is doing what y'all doing. I'm in my birthday bubble. And she don't got time for none of that. So now we see Ashley. She's outside and she FaceTimes her kids. I don't have much to say about that. Next, Stacey, Karen, and Kiana come out and join her. So Karen lets the girls know that she actually has a membership at Mia's practice, a joint membership. And they show a flashback of her actually at the practice. So I guess she does. So now Jassi comes out to join the girls and she sits down in between them and she falls in the water. Now, honestly, if Kiana wasn't like, girl, what happened? Like, how did that happen? I wouldn't have even realized that she fell. It looked to me like she wanted to get in the water. That's what I thought. But I remember when I was looking at, when they showed the preview of the season, like the trailer, I remember seeing that part. And in the trailer, it looked like she fell. It was funny because I remember laughing like, who was that fell in the water like that? But then when I actually saw the episode, I actually rewinded it because I'm like, it doesn't look like she fell. I would have thought she did that on her own. But the girls was like, oh my gosh, like gagging. So now Stacey says how she lets the girls know how Kiana's lingerie game is on point because at night Kiana be FaceTiming Greg and I guess she be in her little lingerie for their little FaceTime calls. So she's like, I'm sorry not to tell your business, but Kiana lingerie, she ain't playing. So now she starts to talk about TJ and her divorce and how she's starting to feel like she wants to tell her daughter Ariana what's going on. Or I'm sorry, it's Arabella. Yeah, Arabella. So now the birthday girl comes out looking fabulous as always. And Ashley so now they start to talk about, they're talking about Stacey's talking about her divorce. So I believe, I don't know if it was Wendy or Karen who was like, oh, you could talk to Ashley about that. So then that's when Ashley lets the girls know that she's in mediation with Michael at this time now. And it should be like a few months or whatever. I don't know how long she said, but girl, if she come back next season, they'll still be in mediation, if you ask me. So now, Stacey asks Ashley if the guy she's dating, like if she's letting them meet her kids, her sons. And Ashley's like, oh, no. She also lets us know that her and Michael have an agreement that should they they cannot introduce the kids to someone they're dating unless they get the other parent's approval, which I think is cool. I think that's a fair arrangement. So now, Kiana let the girls know how her relationship with Greg's kids, and she feels like it's good to actually date someone with kids because even though she's not a mother, she's getting that experience of connecting with someone's kids. So she gets to experience it in a different way. And she basically says it's like she's like the rich auntie in Greg's house when it comes to his kids. So now Jassi starts to talk about her situation with her man and him having kids and stuff. And they start to show flashes of her giving different stories, telling people different things about her man and his kids and the situation. Even Mia says in her confessional how it's so many different versions of the story. She don't even know, like, what's the real story. So now Jacqueline comes out to join the ladies. And then Mia actually comes to bring a flower delivery for Wendy from Eddie, the kids, and the dog. So now the girls start to turn up like, hey, go ahead, girl. One time for the birthday girl. So they start dancing and stuff. And they dancing and Stacey's like, she does this little white girl. So like Stacey, I can't remember what she said. She said, I can't twerk. I may not be able to, cut a rug or whatever. But, I could catch a rhythm or whatever. I got, I can groove. I got a little groove. Like Stacey, I'm loving Stacey. To me, she's a breath of fresh air. I know I said this before, but I feel like she comes to the show with a completely different energy. And I love it. Like, this is what the show needed. Like, I really think that energy she's a good addition to the show. Let's just say that. All right. So now you see Mia, she's twerking on top of Kiana. And Kiana is like, girl, if you don't get your ass up off of me, she's like, because I'm about to get on your ass. And Kiana, her confessional was like, girl, I ain't forget what you said. I ain't forget how you came for me. And talk about my ex was a drug dealer and called me stitches. Like, girl, I ain't forget none of that. So, whatever. So now, later on that day or morning or whatever, Giselle returns back now. So now, Jassi is catching her up on everything that happened at breakfast, She's letting her know, like, there have been accusations of drug money funding people's businesses and stuff for this nature. And, like, Giselle is like, what? When was all this? And she was like, oh, this was just at breakfast. So now she also lets her know how the situation with Ashley and Karina, how Ashley asked Kay about her scar. And Kay, got upset. So even Giselle was like, why would Ashley, ask her that? Like, you can see she has a scar. So now Ashley actually comes down. And, Giselle asked her, like, what's up with that? Why would you ask her about that? And, Giselle, Ashley with her, I just thought, her skincare line, she turned into a bimbo. So now all the girls eventually come down and they start to do shot o'clock. So they're doing shot o'clock and Mia's taking the bottle. I think it was a bottle of Casamigos, if I'm not mistaken. So she's giving them all a shot through the bottle straight to the head. How Megan say it? I guess they was riding the boat. So yeah, she's doing it to all of them. And Stacey's a newbie. She's like, do I have to swallow? Like, girls, no. What you think what do you think, girl? You going what? Gargle it and spit it out? Where, in the sink? Like, come on the floor? Anyway, so now Mia turn comes. They're like, who gonna do it for Mia? Mia didn't need nobody, honey. Mia took it to the head. She deep-throated that bottle. Backwashing it and all that. Mind you, she like, and this lady, this is how you keep two men. And Wendy like, oh, I get it now. I get it. Like, they like, mm-hmm. And Giselle like, she ain't telling us nothing we didn't already know. But just my observation, girl, yeah, she did do that, but I was just thinking about how her backwash went back in that bottle. And I'm like, girl, I knew nobody else drank from that bottle after that. I know they was like, girl, that's you. That's your personal bottle. And now it got me to thinking, like, have you done this before? Like, have you took a swig out of this bottle maybe when you was in your room or something? Like, now I'm thinking, like, which when I drink with you, do I need to have my own bottle? You have your own bottle, I have my own bottle, and this is how we gonna do it? Go moving forward. So now the ladies are on a sprinter because they're going. Stacy's taking them on a tour to where she used to work at. So they're on a tour. Giselle asks Stacy about TJ, and Stacy's like, "Oh, look him up." So they look him up, and they look up his IMDb. I believe I'm saying it right. And he does a lot of acting and stuff on the side for different like sitcoms and different crime series like CSI, Criminal Minds. I think one of the shows they said, maybe some Law and Order, something like, I don't know. But they show like a clip of him on a set of some show. He had on like a mask, so I guess it was during the pandemic, or maybe he was playing a doctor. But anyway, so now Giselle, not that, and side note, Wendy going to ask, so what does he do, like extra work? And Stacey was like, no, he don't do extra work. And Wendy, that was shady. You was being shady, Wendy. So now Giselle proceeds to ask Stacey, if her and TJ are sexually active. And Stacey tells her no, he's a devout Christian and he's waiting for his wife. So Giselle like, well, have you felt around? And Stacey like, no, I don't know if, and they like, come on, like, somebody else was like, I think it was actually somebody was like, it could be a thumb. So she's like, what's a thumb? Like, girl, a thumb, like a thumb. So Stacey like, she's paying it. Giselle's like, no oral, like nothing. Like, come on, girl. She's like, I don't know if he would want to or whatever. Like, girl, you gotta ask these things or try it and see if he stop you. Like, girl, go for what you know. Don't be scared to make a move, but Giselle is stupid. So Giselle is like, when you dealing with somebody, it's like when you buying a car, you want to take it for a test drive. You want to make sure it's a nice smooth ride. It's comfortable when you sit on it, So they little laughing. So you hear Stacey in her confessional, like, it's plenty of things to do besides sex. There's church, there's working out, there's this and such. And then she's like, Giselle, she can laugh all she wants to alone. Stacey, that was a read. Girl, you're catching on now. There you go. Welcome to the game, Stacey. Okay? But yeah, I do agree, like, you gotta, girl, feel around. Like, honestly, I just couldn't commit to someone if I didn't know if we were sexually compatible. Because, like, but I suppose, honestly, when it comes to sex, that's something you could work. Sex is something that can be taught. But, girl, you don't even know if he has the right tools. Unless that doesn't matter to you, but I believe she's married to a German, and he probably got a big old German. So I don't know. But that's their business. That's not for me to judge, So now, she says something to the effect of, that's my boy, whatever. I don't care. Like, she basically says it doesn't matter. And the girls are just laughing at her like, girl, you a fool. Like, they just laughing. They're not, at this point, they're not laughing with her. They're laughing at her. So now, Mia takes the girls on a tour of her former business called The Joint Chiropractic. So she's taking them on a tour of this place that she sold. And as she's showing them, I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, what is the point of the scene? Like, why are you showing me a place that you used to have? So I guess she's like, this is the first business she bought. So she wanted to show them that. Okay. But I guess the girls was feeling my same sentiment. Because even Giselle was like, girl, why is you bringing us here? Like, and Wendy was even like, girl, this is not birthday worthy. Like, for real. It's not. Like, please, next. Can we go, please? So she also lets them know that she also has 22 other locations that she plans on selling. So I was like, oh, wow, I never knew that she had that many locations. But then I'm thinking of who's saying it. And I'm like, this is Mia we talking about. So maybe if instead of 22, maybe it's like 11. I don't know. We're going to split that in half because I don't know. When it comes to Mia, like I said, you can't really believe much that come out her mouth. So now, they go and get lunch at a place called Finn and Fino or Fino. It was spelled Fin, and then it was Fin and Fin with an O. So pronounce that however you want. I don't know how it's pronounced. So they get there and they order lemon drop shots for all the table. And I noticed Miss Karen decided she wanted a coffee. And I was like, all right, Karen, I'm not going to lie. This is not the first time. Like, it's a few times this season that I've noticed Karen not partaking in the alcohol. And I'm like, good girl, okay, I see you learning. I for one, don't necessarily believe because you had a DUI, that means you shouldn't be drinking at all. I just mean, it just to me means you shouldn't be drinking if you know you're going to be driving. So, and she's not going to be driving. So I feel like, why shouldn't she have one? Like, she ain't driving. But good girl, Karen. I clocked that. I clocked the girl. So I'm going to point it out for you, okay? So now Giselle orders 2 caviar platters and Mia orders the presidential tower. I wanted to see what that was. But they didn't really show it. But they did show when they brought out some of the food. They showed the caviar and then they showed some French fries they ordered. And the French fries looked good. I don't know if they were truffle fries, but they looked good. I was like, oh, all right. I'm ready to order some French fries, okay? But I want those. So now Jassi lets the girls know how her man, he's going to the White House with his team because they won the Super Bowl. What team her man played for again? It's the team that played against the San Francisco 49ers. I don't remember the name of her man's team, but her man is on the same team as Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes that won the Super Bowl for the past 2 years. Y'all know who it is. I can't think of the name of the team right now. So she lets the ladies know, like, that every year the winners of the Super Bowl get invited to the White House. So they were going, and she made it a point to invite all the single men. So I don't know if that meant that she was inviting the ladies. I don't know how that works. If like all the guys get a +1 or if Jassi gets like a +8. I don't know how that works. So anyway, so now the girls end up going back to the place that they're at, Mia's Manor, and they're getting ready for dinner. They show, you see Wendy, she's FaceTiming Eddie to check up on him and the kids. And Jassi also calls her man, what's his name? Darius. But when she's talking to him, her signal is real bad, so she can't really hear him. So now Giselle and Ashley catch up. And they're talking. And Ashley lets Giselle know how some song she was working on that she sang, I think it was last season or the season before that, about her being in a good place or something like that. How some producer made a EDM beat for it. So she played it for Giselle. And next, that's all I gotta say about that. Wendy, so now they all getting ready for dinner. They're all together getting ready for dinner. And the theme is they all gotta wear red. So Mia told them that they all wear red for the dinner, because they're going to this fancy place and she wants them to look their best and all be, I guess, in sync and coordinated. So they all come down and they red, but Miss Wendy comes down and she has on white and she looks fabulous. So the girls are like, oh, why'd you look good, girl? But like, where's your red? And Wendy's like, on my lips. And she did have on red lipstick. She did. All right, she did. So now Jacqueline is saying how somebody stinks, and she's like, I guess smell like pussy or something. So I'm like, who stinks, Jacqueline? Maybe it's you. Maybe you're sitting down smelling your stuff. So she's saying that, and I'm noticing that, and so now they're on a sprinter on the way to dinner, and on the way to dinner they decide to play Fuck, Marry, Kill, which to me is lame. I'm so sick of seeing these Fuck, Marry, Kill games and all that on these Housewives shows. To be honest with you, if I never saw another game of Fuck, Marry, Kill, or I never have I on one of these Housewives shows again, I will be perfectly fine with that. But anyway, a few things in that. Ashley says that she would fuck Stacey because she says Stacey is stiff and she needs some WD-40 to open. And Stacey thinks the F word is too harsh and she prefers to say making love. So now, most of the girls chose to kill Jacqueline. So whenever it's Jacqueline's turn, she says that she would fuck, I think she said Wendy because she already fucked Mia. So now the girls is like, she had to put that in there. And somebody was like, Jacqueline is like a scorned lover. And Jacqueline is like, none of these girls ain't got nothing on me when they come to me. They're like, that's mine. Okay? So now, the ladies arrive in Charlotte for dinner. So I didn't catch the name of the restaurant. They didn't show it. So Wendy begins to talk about how usually for her birthday she celebrates it with her family, like, and her kids and her husband and stuff, and she's never really invited other people to celebrate her birthday because she felt no one would celebrate her. So then she goes on to tell the girls, like, when y'all met me, I was 35, I had just had a baby. And they're going to show flashbacks of Wendy. And when they were showing the flashbacks, I'm like, yeah, Wendy looks totally different now. In a good way, though. You know, there's getting a lot of work done. And then there's getting too much work done. Wendy has gotten a lot of work done, but it actually is a lot of the good work done. So she absolutely... And I was looking at the old pictures and I was like, wow, Wendy, you look good. Like, I'm all for self-improvement. If you're not happy with something about yourself, if you can, change it. I'm all for that. I hear a lot of people online bashing Wendy, saying she looked like since she got her body and her face done, she changed and well, bitch, that was the point. Like, she got the confidence that she didn't have. And it's like, bitches be mad, like, oh, now this bitch wanna be confident because she got her body done and fixed. Now this bitch done fixed all the things that made her insecure and fuck with her confidence, and now she wanna be confident. Well, bitch, ain't that the point? Okay? Like, now, they all the ladies decide to say something nice about Wendy. So they all speaking their piece. And when Jassi is saying what she appreciates about Wendy, she says she appreciates the fact that she's altruistic. Now, Giselle didn't know what that meant. So you hear Giselle saying to Wendy, like, altruistic, like, what's that? So just Ashley tells her, like, you know, it means like you're giving, you do things without expecting anything in return. And I'm like, oh, wow. I was surprised that actually Ashley knew what that meant. And Giselle did. And I was surprised because I always looked at Ashley as like a bimbo. But Ashley actually is smart. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't know what it meant. I was ready to pull out my phone and look it up until Ashley told me what it meant. So, bravo, Ashley. Okay? That's the best thing you did all episode. Now, as they're so Stacey, she says, you know, we've been talking about me and my man, so now we don't know nothing about you. Let's know about you and your man. To Jassi, she says this to Jassi now. So Jassi's like, you know, I appreciate you for asking me that. So she starts to tell her story about her man and how when they met, he had a kid, but she didn't know until after the fact or whatever. But he already had a kid. And then when she was dating him, when they started to get serious, the girl was pregnant again. So they show a flashback of her telling the story of how she was telling Mia how she was just chilling in his bachelor pad and she ended up seeing a picture of a baby. And she's like, a baby? This your baby? I guess they was dating, like she said, in the beginning of them, you know, dating and to know each other. And I understand when you first meet somebody, you know, you might not always... I don't always tell somebody about my kid. So you don't need to know anything about my kid. You don't even need to know I have a kid until I feel like I'm going to be speaking to you on a regular basis. And you're going to be somebody in my life to know that information about me. Because, you know, if we don't work out and you end up being crazy, me knowing that I have a kid could be something you can use against me. So I understand that. But then she said when they started to get serious, the girl was pregnant again. So obviously he was still dealing with the baby mother at the same time that he was dealing with you. So she's telling the story. So they asking her, the girls ask her like, well, how old are the kids? And I think she says one is 3 and the other one I think is about 9 months, 6 months, something like that. Less than a year. So they asked her, well, how long have y'all been together? And she's like, a couple of years. All right, Jassi, a couple of years means 2. To me, a couple means 2, a few means 3. And if people been together longer than that, they usually would specify and say, oh, we've been together 5 years, 6 years, or whatever, you know? But it's just like I said, the math just ain't math, and the girls is looking at her sideways, like, "Girl, what? Huh? What are you talking about?" Like, even Jacqueline was like, "Well, that would mean like that y'all was together, and like around the time y'all was together, like girl, it was just like it wasn't making sense. It came off like she was lying, and not for nothing. Online currently, the baby mother has spoke out, and she has made it known that them babies were planned, that both of them kids were conceived on each of their birthdays. So one kid was conceived on her birthday, and one kid was conceived on his birthday. They were planned. So I don't know, Jassi. It's just not looking good for you right now. You're coming across looking like a liar. And I get it. You don't want to look stupid and crazy, but hey, how many friends you got who got that situation, girl? So why? So now as she's telling her situation, Kiana is like, Jassi, no judgment. I could relate because I've been in a similar situation where I was dating somebody who was a athlete, who was a player on a team, and he had ended up having two girls pregnant at the same damn time. So as she's telling her story, Mia jumps in like, "Oh, who girl? Who you talking about?" So Kiana's like, "Why?" She's like, "Cause I had the same situation, so I'm wondering if it's the same person." So Kiana like, "Girl." And she proceeds. So Mia like, "No, all right, what? Can you at least say what team it was?" So Kiana's like, "At this point, he played for Jesus, okay?" So now they talking. So now when Stacey, mind you, when Stacey first asked Jassi about her situation with her man and her relationship, you saw Karen in a confessional, and she was like, Stacey has loosened up on this trip for sure. She's like, she definitely loosened up asking me 2 and 3 times about my charges. She's loose as fuck. So now Stacey takes the time to thank Ashley because she says Ashley and Ashley alone has helped her to open up and want to share more with the group about TJ and her life and just be more free. So she thanks Ashley, and Ashley's, flattered. And I'm like, oh. So now you see the next morning, all the girls are getting ready to go home. Everybody's leaving to go back to Potomac. Stacey's up and chipper because she says she's used to waking up real early for work when she worked at QVC. So she's a morning person, and everybody else is looking at her like, girl, get out my face, please. Ashley is hungover. I think Stacey said her hair looked like, I forgot what she said her hair looked like, but she said Ashley looked crazy. So yeah, so now you see Karen and Mia's leaving. Everybody's leaving. Wendy's sitting at the table. Then you see her leaving and she's excited. Like she had a good birthday. And you see Mia and Jacqueline in the room and they're talking about Jassi, like basically, like, girl, something ain't right. The math ain't mathing. And that's where the episode ends. So this was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It has some needless scenes in it, like the scene of Mia taking the girls on a tour of somewhere she used to own. Girl, take me on a tour to one of your other 22 locations that you still own. Okay? Like, girl. But I guess that was the first one where it all started. So she felt like it's a part of her legacy. So I get it. But girl, please, if you ever invite me on a trip, please don't ever take me on no bullshit ass tour like that. Okay? Anyway, guys, so what was your favorite part of the episode? I think my favorite line in the episode was when Karen said she loose as fuck now. She loosened up for real on this trip, asking me about my charges 2 or 3 times. All right, that's as loose as it get. But yeah, it was a cute episode. I would say it was between okay and good. It was good. Like in between. But let me know what you think. Catch me in the next video. Bye-bye.